Me and you, one-on-one. It's not now. It's not even a male-female thing.
So it's personal.
Personal.
This is personal.
We're saying goodbye from Round Hill, Jamaica.
Don't worry, fellas. I got this one under control.
No way.
Left hand blue.
Oh, man, why does Sports Illustrated do that to us every year? They love to torture poor, defenseless men, don't they? Man, I look at the creases on those suits and I think, is that what I think it is? Anyway, former model Kim Delaney accidentally bills a man with the ultimate defense system, werewolf blood, and iron skin. It's Project Metalbeast with Barry Bostwick as the evil CIA chief, coming up next on Monstervision. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go take a cold shower. I'll be right back, or I'm gonna do something.
See Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs next on TNT.
Cheating. Oh. Let's say goodbye. Listen.
Let's say goodbye.
Nothing's touching.
You won, bro.
I won. Okay, now.
Consequence.
Hey, Joe Bob Briggs, and tonight we have the movie that catapulted Spin City's Barry Bostwick and the gorgeous Kim Delaney from NYPD Blue into television stardom. I'm talking about, of course, the actor's dream, Project Metalbeast. You know, I have this friend named Earl, and he always tells me, never date an actress, Joe Bob. And I like actresses, I really do. I mean, I really like actresses. So I say, why shouldn't I date actresses? And he says, because they're selfish. They're only concerned with their own career. They're fruitcakes. They're worrying about parts all the time. They're flighty. They're fickle. Just take my word for it, Joe Bob. Actresses, no way, don't do it. Then I have this other friend named Frankie. And he tells me, don't get involved with divorced women, Joe Bob. And I tell him, but I'm a divorced man. And he says, well, it doesn't matter, Joe Bob. Divorced man, he forgets everything that happened to him in the last bad marriage he was in. But divorced woman, she remembers every dang thing the guy did to her. And then as soon as you do something even slightly resembling what the other guy did to her, she nukes you. So stay away from them, Joe Bob. They're mad, they're crazed, they're bitchy. Underneath, they're simmering with the idea that all men are jerks, and so it's just a matter of time till you are a jerk. But what I don't understand is, how come everybody else knows the rules? And I've never heard any of the rules. Where do you go to learn this stuff? I know there's a school somewhere, because at least 10 different people have recited to me the never date an actress speech. I've also heard never date a woman with children, never date a woman who likes to talk on the phone more than 5 minutes at a time. How many of those are there? And never date a woman with artificial hooters. Now, personally, I don't mind stunt breasts, as long as they're done in good taste. But the idea, though, is that a woman who would actually go to a doctor's office and say, here, just saw away on my chest for a while, that's going to be a tough woman to deal with when you get down to the nitty-gritty. You know, I don't know about that. I don't know about any of it, really. But speaking of actresses and divorced women with children and so forth, we got that very thing tonight. It's Kim Delaney. And Kim is in the middle of her experiments with synthetic tinfoil skin when Barry Bostwick gives her a cadaver to experiment on, a cadaver with werewolf blood in it, brought in specially from Hungary by the CIA for the use in creating superior combat agents. Don't worry, you get most of this right up front, but we'll do the drive-in totals later. Just check this out, and I'll be here with you. Kim Delaney, former teenage cover girl, Kim Delaney. And that's one of the rules, right? Never date a model. Who makes these rules? These rules need to be revised. Well, actually, a model, I agree with that one. Unless it's a nude model. Topless dancer. Great marriage material there. But if you inject this into a human, their blood will putrefy into pus. Their body will swell up like a balloon, accompanied by vomiting and fever, resulting in a horrifying death. I can't wait for that scene, can you? But it's worth it, right? Because the guy who just shot himself up with the werewolf blood will be a new kind of warrior with the instincts of an animal and the brain of a man. I'm going to live forever. How does he conclude that? Is there a rule somewhere that says werewolves live forever? Do werewolves get old? They lose their fur and lie around chewing their butts after a certain amount of time, don't they? I'm going to have to look into that. Here's those drive-in totals. We have 9 dead bodies, 1 reanimated body, 2 dead beasts, 1 fuzzy wang doodle, gooey arm covered in worms, multiple werewolf attacks, needle to the inner thigh, stomach ripping, steel rod through the foot, torpedo through the leg, exploding beast, werewolf cam, gratuitous chef, bazooka foo, 2.5 stars. Okay, commercials and then back to the flick. And that's Barry Bostwick, of course, as Colonel Miller on the very popular Spin City these days, playing the idiot mayor. Did you notice the guy with the burr haircut who injects himself with the serum? Sometimes they call him Fowler, and sometimes they call him Butler. See, that's what happens when you don't use the pink paper when you make your script changes. Right, guys? Yeah, the writer goes, I think Butler is a better name for this character, but you forget to tell half the cast. We're all human. It can happen. You know.
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages.
You'll be indestructible and under my control. That's what he said, right? This flick is just making up rules as it goes along, isn't it? How is Butler's body going to be in Barry Bostwick's control? Is there some kind of remote control mechanism on CIA werewolf warriors? Well, Kim Delaney has joined the picture, and that's good news. Kim made Project Metalbeast right before she got the part in NYPD Blue, so this was obviously the key turning point in her career. Got that show for her. Barry Bostwick, too. He got Spin City right after this. He was a big hit in the original production of Grease on Broadway, and then, of course, in the mega cult smash, The Rocky Horror Picture Show back in 1975. And then he just couldn't get his career back on track. He spent years doing B-movies and made for the Lifetime Network flicks, and then there was Project Metalbeast, so Barry Bostwick's big breakthrough role that caused everybody to notice him again. All right, roll the ads, and let's get back to it. What are we going for here exactly, though? Skin of steel, right? Steel skin attached to frozen cadavers for ill-defined military uses. Is that what's happening here? Well, that's as close as I can come at this point, so.
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages. Project Metalbeast will return on TNT's Monstervision, hosted by Joe Bob Briggs. And get ready for the TNT original Freedom Song tomorrow night at 7 only on TNT.
So Debbie the researcher finds a tiny speck of dirt and traces it to the Danube River near Budapest. What a genius that Debbie is, you know? I wonder if they had another scientist in the lab who said, no, I disagree, that's the Snake River in Idaho. Anyway, where'd they get that guy who plays the general? Is that the wimpiest general you've ever seen? They obviously spent all their money on Kim Delaney and Barry Bostwick, and they had to hire out of those acting schools for that one. So Butler is alive, right? That was a pretty good scene with the blood rising up out of the bullet holes, very ER. And that followed the complicated, I can't believe we had peanut butter and jelly for dinner time-lapse thing. Whoa, were they trying to save money with this one? All right, let's continue after the ads. South African actress Musetta Vander as Debbie, the sexy lab whiz and dirt clod expert. Don't you love the way Kim Delaney stands up to the evil CIA guy? That's immoral, Colonel.
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages.
Am I wrong, or is there a little subtext action going on between Kim Delaney and Musetta Vander? Never mind, the high sheriffs don't like me to talk about that stuff, but hey, how come in movies when somebody's working on a computer, the computer screen never looks like a real computer screen? You guys ever notice that? Yeah. Always looks like what the 1970s version of what we thought computer screens would look like in the future. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And if somebody wants to call, they say, what do you need? You need the entire Keno payout schedule for Harrah's Casino Tahoe? You know, they hit the space bar and it all comes up. Anyway, speaking of computers, let me give out the Monstervision website address. It's tnt.turner.com/JoeBob. And while I'm at it, my email address is joebob@turner.com if you want to write in. And, okay, I don't want to hold up this great movie, so let's get the ads out of the way and continue with Project Metalbeast. I should also give the snail mail address, I guess. Not many people use that anymore. Care of TNT, 1010 Techwood Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. Why was Barry Bostwick suddenly sympathetic to the reanimated guy? Can't you give him a painkiller? He says, wasn't he torturing him about 5 minutes before that? Isn't that why he peed on that guy's shoes?
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages.
So Kim Delaney and her boyfriend just walk away. leaving the nervous, scared guy alone with the monster. Now, why did they do that? It was because they have stuff to do, right? They're busy. But you know what works when you want to capture a rabid half-beast, half-man with metal skin and a serious attitude, right? A fire extinguisher, of course, for when you don't have those inconvenient silver bullets handy. Did anybody pick up the homage they did to Darkman in there, the other synthetic skin movie made by the great Sam Raimi? In Darkman, the bad guys blow up Liam Neeson with one of those little dipping duck toys, just like the one the Beast smashed up a few minutes ago. And by the way, how come the Metalbeast cam is accompanied by aquarium noises? Just wondering about that. Okay, back in a minute. Barry Bostwick, he bonds with that barbecued beast. You like that alliteration? Barry Bostwick bonds with the barbecued beast. It does look barbecued, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. That skin doesn't look particularly hard to me, though. They need to pop it back onto the grill for a few more minutes, get it really crusty.
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages.
Did we know Roger the geeky lab guy was going to get it? Roger, the guy who spends the whole movie getting startled every time somebody opens a door. That's the guy that Kim Delaney and the other male lead, Philip, well, sometimes Philip's there and sometimes he isn't. But anyhow, they tell nervous Roger that they're going to go take care of something and that he needs to go in and stick the monster in the eye with a hypodermic. Is that what happened? Could they have telegraphed the death of Roger anymore? I think not. Meanwhile, Philip just found a bazooka in a broom closet and also somehow managed to melt down a bunch of the general's silver dollars using an old Bunsen burner and a variety of other equipment you'd probably normally find only in a methamphetamine clinic. And that's about it. Okay, after the ads, we'll be back. How come Roger couldn't just stab the hypodermic in that beast's face? I was looking at least 3-4 square inches of human skin still on his face. You guys know who plays the beast, right? No. Kane Hodder. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, parts 7 through 9. Wow. Also played the human pizza in House 4. Remember when we showed that here? Kane is a Hollywood stuntman who specializes in deformed, hirsute monster killers. Go Kane, good work.
More in a moment with Joe Bob's Monstervision after these messages.
Oh, Lordy, did they use silver bazooka shells to kill the beast? They melted down silver dollars to make bazooka shells to kill the terrifying man in a monster suit, didn't they? And we had not one but two actors that we thought were dead but then sprang back to life so they could save the protagonist. And of course, the famous steel rod through the foot sequence. Kim Delaney got around pretty easy after she pulled that rod out, though. Tough cookie. Good practice for her role as the tough but sexy alcoholic cop on NYPD Blue. And naturally, we're left with an opening there for Project Metalbeast 2. Still in development, oddly enough, but can't wait for that, though. Anyhow, you know what's on Monstervision next week is The Dead Zone. Stephen King meets David Cronenberg meets Christopher Walken. Good flick, so check it out, and that's it for me. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that when you do a good deed, get a receipt in case heaven is like the IRS. Did you guys hear about Jerry, this guy who's hired to play his trumpet on the score of a movie? Did you hear about him? No. He's especially thrilled because he gets to take 2 long solos on the score. So after he does these sessions, which go great, Jerry can't wait to see the finished product. So he asked the producer where and when he can catch the film. The producer tells him that the music was actually for a porno flick, and it'd be out in about a month. And he tells Jerry where he can go to see it. So a month later, Jerry goes to the theater, and he has his collar turned up and a pair of glasses on. He walks in, he sits way in the back of the theater next to this elderly couple who also seem to be disguised and hiding. And the movie starts, and it's the filthiest, most perverse porno flick ever. It's got group sex, S&M, things I can't even mention on TNT. And then halfway through the movie, a dog gets in on the action. Before anybody can blink an eye, the dog has sex with everybody in the movie. And Jerry is embarrassed, and he turns to the old couple and he whispers, you know, I'm only here for the music. And the woman turns back to Jerry and she whispers to him, well, that's okay, we're just here to see our dog. Joe Bob Briggs reminding you that the drive-in will never die. What has 4 legs and 1 arm? A very happy pit bull. What has 4 legs and 1 ear?
What?
Mike Tyson's pit bull.
Whoa.
What do you say to a one-legged hitchhiker?
What?
Hop in.